time for another Santa Anita Pick'em contest every Saturday, every Sunday, free to enter. So let's dive in to the October 22nd Pick'em contest. Eric from ETOF21 Sports joins me here, Gino Bacola, and we'll be here with you each and every week that there are Santa Anita Pick'em contests because these are free, Eric. And one thing that I know as a serious bettor, someone who plays a lot of different sports quite often, there are very few days where I know you and I don't have a play on something. The best way to build your bankroll is when you don't have to spend anything to enter and to win. We can win $1,000 any day here, and you can lose every single day, and you never lose any money. This is a great free contest. It's a lot of fun, and it really tests our knowledge as sports fans.
Yeah, the first word my parents taught me was free, so I love it.
Yeah, right? F-R-E-E, that spells free, baby. It's really easy to sign up. You don't have to put your credit card in or anything like that. All you do is head to pick'em.santaanita.com. That's the website. And you just log in, create an account. It's totally free. Make sure to check out any of the rules and the fine print so that way you'll know the details. And if you want to play in this every Saturday and every Sunday, you can. You can win every time. But even if you don't ever win, if you play every week and you accumulate the most total selections, you will win a prize. If you make the most correct picks, you will also win. So just continue to play each and every time. And you can also win prizes at the end of the meet just for having played over and over and over again. This one I thought was pretty challenging on Saturday, Eric, because right now we are in a time in sports where I believe Thursday was referred to as a sports equinox. We had Thursday night professional football, professional basketball, professional baseball, professional hockey. We also had college football, all on Thursday night. So these next few weeks, there are so many things going on, and they're all reflected in these contests here. So we actually have some hockey, some baseball, some college football, all in the mix for Saturday, as well as Santa Anita races. This was really challenging.
Yeah, it's a tough card. Real tough card.
And we'll kick off with our tiebreaker. If you've never seen one of these streams before, or if you've never played in this contest before, what's nice about these pick'em contests, when you answer a question, it lets you know. So what was your tiebreaker? I threw out over 800 yards. These two teams are both pretty good offensively. Kansas State can run the ball. TCU wants to go up and down. I may change this a little bit if we find out that the wins in this game are high, because it's expected to be maybe 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. So I may go a little lower if I have to. What number were you looking at?
I put 783.
Yeah, so we're pretty close to each other here. We're kind of in the same range, and we're kind of seeing the same thing as we're both in that 800-ish range. Keep monitoring that weather, though. And unfortunately, our first prop, Eric, we can't really talk about this one at the moment you and I are recording. We're recording right now at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, and we don't know all of the pitching matchups yet for Saturday, because I think a lot of it will have to do with what happens in Friday night's game. These teams may start a different pitcher, bullpen game. Just you'll have a different approach based on the result of the games tonight. So we can't really talk about this one with
I will say this. Houston does have the most home runs off of right-handed pitchers in the postseason, ninth most.
They're playing Cole, right?
Yeah, and they're going against Cole. So I mean, I put them in right now.
You would lean Houston right now, and then if you based on the pitching matchups, if you need to call an audible, we can do that. It'll always let you know when your pick has been made. As we move to Astros Yankees, so again here, do we know both sides of the pitching matchup in this game?
Yeah, it's going to be, I believe, Javier and Cole. I did under here. Cold weather. Both these pitchers are in pretty good form.
And what we're seeing with the Yankees right now, too, they are a team that they don't have a lot of really good hitters. And so you'll see two different things here, right? Look what happened with the Dodgers, for example. The Dodgers were 1 for 28 with runners in scoring position. They were patient. They took pitches. They got on base a lot. They couldn't get the big hit. The Yankees, they can't really even string hits together because they were more of a home run hitting team, and those have been few and far between here. I just don't think that against Cole for the Astros, and then you have for the Yankees a team that hasn't been stringing a whole lot of hits together. Yeah, we're both on the underside here. I was actually a little surprised that this is over, to be honest. That early
I think people are just betting names.
Yeah, you're right, and you're absolutely right. What number will be the highest on Saturday, Eric? This is actually 3 different sports. We have horse racing, hockey, and then baseball. We go in Juan Hernandez wins on the Santa Anita card, Alex Ovechkin goals and assists, Manny Machado hits plus walks. And what makes this question very difficult is this isn't like in the NBA, right? And what I mean by that is in the NBA, LeBron can average 25 points a game. And that LeBron, even in the worst game, will get you 10, 12 points, right? That's like a horrible game for him. Any one of these 3, Juan Hernandez could not win a race on the card. I mean, it's hard to win a race. It could very easily go a day without winning. Alex Ovechkin can be in a game where he plays well and doesn't get a goal or an assist. In Manny Machado, I mean, in baseball, in game 1 of the series, Manny Machado didn't get on base. But then game 2, he gets on base 4 times. So that's what's difficult about this. The floor for any of these could be 0. Like, it would not be weird for any of these guys to just get a 0 here. But I think the safest, I kind of went back to Juan Hernandez as like maybe one of the safer ones. Manny is starting to hit well, so I feel like he's going to get pitched around. You could probably get at least like 1 or 2 on base like appearances on base from Manny. Ovechkin and that's a little bit tougher, right? Because there could absolutely be a game where he just doesn't score or get an assist and plays well or doesn't. This was one of the tougher ones for me of all 12. Eric, talk to us about how you work this out in your head.
Well, the most points Ovechkin has ever scored in a game versus the Kings is 3, so I kind of put that as a ceiling. Reality is he usually goes 0 or 1, so I figure that's where it's going to be around 1.
Yeah.
You look at Machado against the Phillies. He's got 7 hits in every game against the Phillies this year, and 3 of them came in the last game, and he has yet to walk versus the Phillies. So I have that number really low. So just the process of elimination, I'm going to go with Juan Hernandez.
I think Juan Hernandez can safely have like 3 or 4. He's in all, and every time you see Juan Hernandez, he's on a live horse too now. Like Juan Hernandez is very, very rarely on 15, 20-1 shots that have no chance in the race. Juan Hernandez listed mounts for Juan for Saturday, just running through them, and the odds for these listed mounts for Juan in race number 1, he's on Devil Moon, who's 5-2. In race number 2, Juan does not have a mount. In the 3rd, he's on the 5 Deer Bow, who's 4-1. In the 4th race, no mount, so he has 2 so far. In the 5th, Lincoln City, who is 3-1. That's his 3rd on the card. In the 6th, he has his 4th mount, Never Sway, which is 5-2. All of these horses are really short prices. Whirly Girly is another one. That's his 5th mount on the card and 5-1. In the 8th race, he's on Encode, who we're actually going to talk about in just a minute. Encode is only 4-1. And then in the 9th race, he is on Crypto Ride, who's 6-1. So he has 7 mounts on the 9 race card. He could absolutely win 4 or 5. And I think a safe kind of floor for him is 2, right? Like maybe we can say like 2 out of the 7. And he said Ovechkin is not as likely to get 2 goals and plus assists consistently. Manny Machado could go 1 for 3, or 0 for 2 with the walk or 2. And then we're right there with Hernandez. So yeah, we're both leaning on the Hernandez side. Let's go Minnesota, Penn State. Eric, I'm going under here mainly because I don't know what the hell is happening with these 2 quarterbacks. Both of these quarterbacks are banged up. They may either not play or not be healthy. I don't know what type of offenses we are going to see from two possible backup quarterbacks, I'm going under.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Backup quarterbacks, and Minnesota likes to play at a slow pace.
This is prop number 4 out of the 12 for Saturday. Let's move along to number 5. Eric, talk to us about this one. This is just pretty simple. Pick the winner. Tell us who you like. Who's going to be the winner of race number 5?
I like the 9. Good post. Won the last 3. I know it's a step up in class, but with the early speed and the post position, I think they'll be able to get the lead and just hold on to it.
And that's the 9, Encroachment. So if you select Encroachment, it'll let you know that your pick has been made. For Eric, it'll be Encroachment. For me, and I can absolutely understand why Eric would go towards Encroachment. With that outside draw, Encroachment will just try to fly from out there and clear the field. I'm a little worried there might be some other speed in here. Maybe Give Me the Loot, Maven. They could push this one. I like Chasing Money and Inch as horses who could sit right behind. So I think those two would be two that I looked at. I'm going to lean towards Chasing Money right now. But if you're playing any sort of like pick 4s, pick 5s, stuff like that on the Saturday card in the 5th, I thought both of them were live along with Eric's Encroachment on the outside there. So, Eric, let's continue along. Number 6, Mississippi State, Alabama. Talk to us about this one.
I mean, geez, this is so hard.
I know.
Those kids have probably been run through one of the worst weeks of practice, with 130 nearly yards.
So for those of you who may not have who may not know or didn't realize last week, Alabama lost last week to Tennessee. Alabama very rarely loses. And when they do lose, Eric, their head coach does not like it. They usually bounce back with very, very big wins. And you pointed something out when you and I were just talking earlier about this game on a college football preview show we do. It wasn't even that they lost in a game. They lost in a game where they had 17 penalties.
And those kids are going to be running so much. It's going to be brutal. Oh God, just take the. I
have a tough time playing Mississippi State because of that. I mean, but this number at 21.5, like, it's such a big number. I would not be betting this game myself, right? But in a contest like this, where you have to pick one side or the other, where did you end up?
I did the 21.5. I just kind of feel that's the side you have to do.
Yeah. So this one, very difficult, and sad news on the Mississippi State side. They actually lost a player on their team, and an offensive lineman passed away at just 19 years old recently. Really, really sad stuff for Mississippi State heading into a huge, huge game there against Alabama. Never easy to transition from talking about something like that back into sports, as Mississippi and Alabama are the 6th prop of 12. We move to number 7, Eric. This one is, again, just a pretty simple pick the winner of race number 7. Who are you looking at as the winner of the 7th?
Anytime a horse has my grandmother's name in it, automatic for me. So I'm going all the way down to the 7. Hansen has a good ROI going from dirt to turf. I think the 6 furlongs suits the horse really well with the running style.
That is Valencia Betty, who debuted going 5 furlongs on the turf and then had to go longer in a race that was taken off the turf on September the 9th over at Del Mar. And now we'll come back to the grass and come back to a turf sprint. That'll help Betty quite a bit. If you want to go with the 7 like Eric, it'll let you know that your pick has been made. I thought the 2 Electric Glide was a little bit interesting in here. Now, she faced a very nice filly in her debut named Home Cooking, who came out of that race to finish 2nd in the Grade 1 Del Mar Debutante. Both of Electric Glide's races have been on the dirt. She'll try the turf for the first time, and one of her half siblings is a horse who won 4 times on the grass and is a multiple stakes winner. So Electric Glide, I think, can flash some speed in here and might be tough to catch from down on the inside. That's the 2 Electric Glide. Up next, the 8th prop is just a head-to-head matchup in here, Eric. And this was a horse that I made reference to earlier, where we have Encode and Street Art. I'm a little surprised to see so much of the money and so much of the support going to Street Art early, because I liked Encode in here. I think you and I were both on the same one, right?
Yeah. I'm a little worried about making the switch Plus in code has Hernandez on it. The barn switch for street art. Plus Hernandez on in code. Best jockey there in my eyes. So I'll take in code here, especially with the public going street arts way.
Street art has a tough post too with the rail draw in here with his running style. I think he might get stuck in and get caught in a bad spot. In code with that outside draw, I think will help him quite a bit too. I agree with you. We're both on in code in the head-to-head matchup as we turn the page to the 9th and final on Saturday at Santa Anita. Now, I think a lot of people will go to Luca Grozzi, the 9, and I can completely understand why. Luca Grozzi is going to be a heavy favorite. I actually think the 5, Please Focus, might be able to get out front in here. There is no proven speed on paper from the horses who have run. They're all more of a mid-pack to a closer. That's their running style. Please Focus has shown speed twice. And when he's been on the lead, he's done it in sprint races where they have to go faster early. Now he will stretch out. He'll go a mile on the turf, and it's going to be his first start ever on the turf. His mom, his dam, Atlantic Swing, she won on the turf going long, and all 4 of his siblings won on the grass. I feel like Please Focus could perk up nicely in here. So I'm going to go to the 5, Please Focus. Who are you looking at in this one, Eric?
I'm taking the chalk, dude. Call it my Peter Miller bias. Finished 3rd last time out. I really think the outside post will help the running style. I know it's chalky, but
he towers over this field. And honestly, and I'm going to play like pick 5s and stuff at Santa Anita on Saturday. I would use the 5 and the 9. I think a lot of people will single the 9, and I wouldn't talk them really off of doing that. He ran well against Open Company, and now he moves in to just Calbred. So it's just a lot softer of a race for Luca Grozzi. We move to number 10, back to college football. Eric, we go Kansas State, TCU. And one of the reasons why you and I have, I think, got along really well in the last couple of years, and we talk sports all the time. You and I talk about basketball, football, college football. We look at a lot of our angles, and the way we sort of approach gambling is pretty similar. And in this particular spot, going through, when I was handicapping this game and looking at TCU's schedule, I just immediately felt like this really was a good spot to play Kansas State. TCU has had tough game after tough game after tough game after big games that they've had to be up for. They've answered every test. But now you face a Kansas State team that's coming off a bye. While you were sitting there playing a double overtime game, getting really worn down, and it feels like just the matchups of these two teams, TCU struggles a little bit defending the run, and you've been very impressed with the Kansas quarterback and how well he's done running the ball recently.
Yeah, he's been playing great. You hit the nail on the head with the TCU, their schedule, K-State's running, and also there's going to be weather that's going to play into K-State for their type of football.
Winds, 20, 30 mile an hour winds, right?
Yep.
And that should make it a little bit easier for Kansas State to slow down TCU's pass game and for them to run the ball. So we're both on the Kansas State side here at plus the 3.5. What number do you think will be higher? Highest winning payout on the day or Kawhi Leonard points on the day?
Well, Leonard's coming off the bench now. He only had 14 last game, so you figure he's going to play 20 minutes. I went with the highest payout just because I think there's going to be some big payouts after I looked at the card earlier today.
Not only is he came off the bench, he only had 21 minutes. Like you said, he'll probably play maybe 25, but he had 14 points. The Clippers played 11 players. Like, they're a deep team. So right now and early on in the year, they don't have any reason to try to lean on Kawhi at all. They're going to have a lot of guys looking for shots. So that's super important. And that is number 11 of 12. Eric, our final prop is Kings Capitals. I don't know squat when it comes to hockey, so I just looked at this in a very simple sense, where the Kings average about 3.8 goals per game. The Capitals average about 3.25 goals per game. I mean, that's pretty close to what this is. So I just went with the over because it was, less selected. If it's an either or for me, I'm going to always zig when everybody else zags. I'm going to go over in here.
I did over just because every one of the games the Kings have played this month have gone over.
Eric, we can give you a follow at etoff21 on Twitter. And Eric does such a fantastic job every single week covering all of the big events and all of the major sports. Eric, thank you so much, buddy. I look forward to talking with you again about this one. We'll only have a few more of these, so maybe we'll do one more next week on Saturday, and maybe for the final week, we'll do a Sunday one so we can get a look at some of the NFL games on that Sunday slate. Thanks so much, buddy. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Make sure to give Eric a follow at etoff21 and give me a follow on social media too. It's me, Gino B. Have a great weekend, folks. Pick 'em